Game boss, a landmark for players' progress. The concept of boss fights, where players face off against a significantly more challenging and powerful enemy at the end of a level or stage, has been around in video games for quite some time. The first video game boss dated back in 1975. I don't know what game, because I don't bother to want to look up the source, but I'm pretty sure it dated back to Space Invaders. Don't quote that, by the way. Like I said, I don't look up the source. But at the time, I was pretty sure that the player's reaction to the first boss they encountered was like,
"Oh my god. What is this? Why he was so big? Why it takes longer to kill? What is that move? What the fuck do I do? What is my purpose of life?"
And as the game industry continues to grow and expand, so does the game design with the boss fight. From being a damage sponge and bigger health bar, to having a unique design that stands out from the rest of enemies, and having their own movesets, their own arena, and their own theme song. But I'm not going to talk about the history of boss fights, or ranking which one is the best. This sole purpose of this video is to discuss what makes the video game boss design good and bad. The reason why, you might ask, it's because not a lot of people talk about this, I think. It's also because I lack purpose of life, so I made this video just to feel good about myself. But anyway, let's talk about what makes the boss battle so good and memorable. Soulsborne, Kiro Ring, or whatever you wanna call it, Dark Souls. Yeah, I just call it the Souls game. Souls game has a lot of great boss battles and some of them are fun and challenging, memorable, but what makes it so great? Well, is it the lore, movesets, design? All of it. All of it. Don't ask me. Okay, we all know the answer already. But I'm talking about the most important part. Fundamental boss designs, which was challenging but fun experiences. The Souls game is fundamentally challenging, so it makes sense for the boss to beat you like an abusive boyfriend, but you of course still love him no matter what.
Relationship with this game is like an abusive boyfriend. He keeps hitting me and hitting me.
That is my relationship with this game. A great boss acts like a teacher. They'll be like, "Okay, you got as far as here. Let's see what you learned so far." And show the most bullshit move you never seen before. And then you die, and then you get to try again, and again, and again. But the beauty of it is to try and learn from them. You hit him once, and you'll be like, "Oh, I hit him, and then died." And then you get to go further until finally you manage to beat the boss. The beauty of it is the satisfaction of overcoming the hard bosses to learn their well-telegraphed moves, so that you can punish them. And the further you get to, then you will know that you improved as a player. That is what makes the game fun. You learn and improve, not just mindlessly shooting, chipping away his health bar, not just a gimmick move that is outside fundamental game design. Just a balanced experience of fun and challenging. Now we said about what makes the bosses good, let's move on to what makes the bosses bad. Let's talk about that. And buckle up, because I want to rant as much as possible. Are you a developer that's struggling to provide a challenge for players enough to keep them interested? Are you tired of designing the boss from your fundamental game design? Don't worry, we got you covered. Introducing the artificial difficulty.
Well, what is that?
Artificial difficulty is where the game level challenges is artificially increased to provide an unfair challenge for player that actually want a legitimate challenge. They want a fair but difficult experiences? Well, get fucked, because devs can't be bothered to rethink the game design decision. With the artificial difficulty, developers can increase the damage of boss, put some random bullshit, undodgeable gimmick moveset, gank squad, input reads, and many more. Like a fucking checkpoint that was like miles away from their own arena. This way developers can increase their difficulty without having to change the game design.
Hooray. Well, this made my minimum wage job much easier.
That is bullshit. On top of that, most difficult bosses always break their own rules, just for them to make it harder than it seems. No stagger, combo was too fast with no wind up animation. Sometime. Also, what about this devs who loves the player to make the run back? What is up with you guys? Are you guys okay? You want us to suffer? Is that it? This is made to test our patience, rather than our actual skills. Most of us died to a grunt, because most of them are nuisance and pain in the ass. Redoing that is not something we like. It wasted our resources and time. It just does not work.
Sometimes it doesn't just work.
If you want to challenge us fundamentally, not abusing our mental health for your game. Some of the bosses in Souls game is great. Some. Unfortunately, even the mighty have weaknesses. Elden Ring boss for example, most of them have memorable experiences. I had lost count on how many times that I beat this game, including multiple new game plus on each save files. Now that I said that I like this game, unfortunately, it falls flat when it comes to bosses in each dungeon. I'm talking of course about the redesign and repetitive boss fights. The first playthrough I explored in most of the dungeon in this game, and I was impressed on how big the game is.
There are secret zones within secret zones within secret zones.
Like he said, there's a lot of stuff to explore, but with the second half, I noticed the pattern. Hey, isn't that the same boss I fought the first time I explored the dungeon? Hey, that is just a regular enemy, or elite enemy the correct term, with extra health bar. I fought this lava dragon before. Free time. Wait, I fought this strong enemy before. Now there are two of them? What? You see what I'm showing, right? Right? They are recycling the boss design to the point it doesn't feel quote unquote boss anymore. The point is it doesn't have the sense of specialty in fights. In fact, it felt repetitive. They have new moves for sure, but that's about it. A lot of game on Elden Ring scale have this problem. I don't blame them, because it's hard to cramp in as much as content as possible, but at the end it just feel like chores. But they at least need to try harder in order to make the experience better. That's about it that I want to rant. Boss fights are fundamental game content nowadays. Some of them don't include a boss, but the game is still enjoyable. But most of them are. Nowadays developers make games first then boss later, which why they suffered like artificial difficulties. Most modern video games have this problem, which is why I want to talk about it. So yeah, for developers, sorry if I offended you. I just want to point out the flaws. That is my rant. Thank you for watching and hope you have a nice day. Bye bye.